I deal with death every single day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I see people die. I see family members hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
I see family members understanding. I see family members who want to have discussions about all the emotions around it. And so for me, death is a normal process. And because we're in the ICU, and I'm in the ICU taking care of people, it's hard for me to be emotional
Mm-hmm.
because I got to take care of the person in the next room that's also dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so and for her, it was her father,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a huge loss because when her mom and dad split, she went with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like her dad was like her
Mm-hmm.
person. And I, at the time, this is the first time where I had to be honestly, I've had to kind of be doctor and husband with all the experiences we had throughout whatever. But this is really the first time where I had to be pulmonary critical care doctor and husband and I did not know how to deal with that. I couldn't. I dealt with it as I always deal with it in the ICU, which was are you good? This is the natural process. We got to move to the next, step, figure out how we're going to handle, what needs to be handled in terms of the business of his life. We got to do this, we got to move. That's how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to her communication was.
Yeah, I can understand how that's so hard for him because he does have to deal with that. And I've seen, certain patients that he's gotten close to or I've come to know and they've passed away and it's been difficult. And so in that situation, I just felt he was very used to a little desensitized.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He was very used to the way that he handled those patients, which he was with for several days. But then it's you come home and you're with me for several months.
Mm-hmm.
You see me 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with me 24 hours a day. You have to deal with my whatever it is.
Yeah, you're great.
And the last thing I want to hear is death is a part of life. It just really was a trigger.
Yeah.
And I'm stubborn. I was just it's part of life. This happens every day. I had 5 patients die last night.
Yeah.
I had 4 patients die the night before that.
Yeah.
And this is something we still you probably could tell. We still talk about this, right? That time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my question to you is this. Do you go back, rethink, think about how you can do it better? Do you move on? How do you address that monumental event? And there's a couple more, but how do you address that part?
Well, I always say we can't go back, right? We don't have a time machine, so we can't go back into the past. So what I always say is, what can you take from that experience from the past to apply it to situations moving forward, right? Acknowledge any missteps or things that you might have done differently if you could, because when we know better, we do better. And sometimes we aren't able to really be who our partner needs us to be in that moment. And you were compartmentalizing. That's how you have to do what you have to do to survive your day, right? You can't get emotional every time something happens because you wouldn't be able to move on to the next patient, right? It's the same with me. I can't take everything that, happens in one session. I can't carry it over to the next one. I have that 10-minute break to transition.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, though, was you were compartmentalizing so much and using the skills that you used to make yourself an amazing physician, but it wasn't what she needed to make you an amazing partner and to be there for her in terms of what she was going through with her grief. And again, you understand why he was doing what he was doing, but your dad doesn't die every day, know? It was that one time where it happened, and it was, just wanting to hear, something other than death's a part of life, because yes, it is, but you only have one dad, and so I think it's hard.
Yeah.
I see both sides.
Both sides. Yeah.
I see both sides. I see why you had to do what you had to do, and I see what you needed and were craving and wanting as you were going through your grief, because there's no timeline on grief. And, I lost my dad almost 20 years ago, and I still feel that loss. I feel like it's something you never really get over.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. And so I tell my patients that, you grieve in your way for however long you need to. And you just communicate to your partner and to who's around you what you actually need from them.
Mhm.
And hopefully, you get that, because you're going to feel that loss for the rest of your life.